Nervous, huh?
All right, so welcome everyone to Ignite Mind session of Friday, the June 11th. We have a very, very special person today who is going to give us our Ignite Mind session. Ignite Mind is nothing but interactive motivation talks to talk, and it's an opportunity for all our 5 AM members to share whatever they have learned. And we also bringing other members from other parts of the world to come and share with us their knowledge, their wisdom. Okay. Again, the screen is gone. I would request everyone to mute yourself. Oh, it's. What's happening? All right, sorry for the glitch. And now you know when I say when we all went flat when we see Seetha ma'am, this is what it happens. All right, so SEETHA Sagaran is from Dubai, of course. She is a Toastmaster. She is a personal development trainer. She's a motivational and keynote speaker. She has done several activities in Kerala. I know she has touched most of the people. And what I understand from the team, what we have is some people, I think they know you, because the way there was a discussion happening behind your name and your introduction. I'm not sure. Sunil sir, do you know Seetha by any chance?
No. I'm seeing her for the first time.
Ah, okay.
Last week when I was taking these engagements, I didn't see her. I haven't seen her.
Right. Okay. No worries. I thought somehow you all know her. So without further ado, let's welcome the speaker for today. She is also a lifestyle consultant. We'll be sharing her number. Of course, all the social media handles has been shared. She's an author. She's already co-authored a book, and she is a mentor. So in case you want to get in touch with her, please do get in touch with her. And let's use the reaction button and welcome SEETHA Sagaran. Sorry for taking so much of time, and over to you.
No issues at all, Naina. Thank you so much and welcome to the session. And before I continue, I'd like to convey my appreciation and thank you to Naina and of course, Brainciti. Thank you for joining the session, Renew, Redefine and Revitalize. I hope it'll be great for all of you because I'd like to keep this interactive as much as possible. So whenever I'm going to ask any question, it'll be great that one of you immediately is able to respond. Now, before we start, I hope you all have with you paper and pen or pencil. Can I see a show of hands, please? Okay. Would you like to have some time to get the paper and pencil or pen ready? Because I'm going to start with an activity now, for which I will need you to write something.
Yes, go ahead, ma'am, because we sit with paper and pen with for gratitude writing. So 5 AMers have it. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Naina. In fact, what I'd like all of you to write is, I'm going to be giving you 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes maximum, and you have to write a letter from someone who loves you extremely. It has to be addressed to you. For example, if I had been Naina's mother and she's going to write a letter from her mother to herself, she might write, "Dear Molu," and write exactly what she would like to tell Naina regarding how special she is. Any questions? Is it clear?
Will you repeat it?
Okay, what I would love you to be doing right now is to write a letter. I'll give you maximum 3 to 4 minutes. I think 3 minutes should be fine. You need to write a letter from someone who loves you the most in your life. Someone who loves you the most in your life, someone who respects you the most in your life. So you need to address this letter to yourself as though it is written, as though it is from the person who loves you and respects you the most. Am I clear?
Now it is clear.
So I would like you to all start now. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I will be timing it so that we don't overshoot the time.
SEETHA, there is a message in the chat. It says, should we write down only positive thoughts or negative as well?
Well, I think, thank you, Naina, for bringing that attention to that message. I would request you all to write only the positive. Imagine if it's a person who loves you and who respects you the most in your life. What would they want to tell you at this point in your life? So it has to be everything that is positive.
Thank you.
Okay, we are gradually reaching 3 minutes now. If you all require a few more extra minutes, you can let me know. Okay, we are now 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Can I see a show of hands, please, who all have completed the letter? Well, I think I can see someone saying it's the most difficult task. Please, it isn't. I would like you to just feel comfortable because it's written by someone who loves you and respects you the most in your life. So how much more easier can it get? So you know exactly what they want to tell you. I think before we consider whether thoughts create your destiny, before we discuss further, I would suggest and request all of you to please focus on the wonderful message that the person who loves and respects you the most will want to tell you. All right. We will have to stop in the next couple of seconds because it'll be 5 minutes. Thank you. All right, you can stop. Why should it take so much time? I'm wondering. We'll come on to that a little later, why it may be taking some time. Okay, have you finished? Can I see a show of hands, please? Thumbs up, please, if you have completed the letter. Thank you so much. We will now be discussing this letter at the end of the session. And I'll tell you a little more about why this letter is so important. So once again, welcome to the session, Renew, Redefine, and Revitalize. We talk about reinvention. We talk about making sure that we stay positive. Now, all of you are extremely positive. You're very conscious of how important it is to focus our thoughts on healthy ones, on productive ones, and on thoughts that helps us to be more progressive. So the first question I'd like you to think about here is, how do you see others? And how can you see others? Now you might wonder, why am I asking you this question? Because a lot of our belief in reinvention, in wanting to change, in become more vitalized, depends on how we look at others. I'd like to tell you a small story here. It's a story that someone told me a long time ago. It was about the very famous philosopher, Plato. Plato was just walking in his town, in his city, and there was someone who comes by his path. And this person asks him, how is it living in Athens? How is the place? So Plato tells him, how is your place? And this person says, oh, my place is, it's really bad. The people are also really, really not very nice. So Plato says, that is exactly how Athens is. Another day, he was walking by and someone else asked him. Again, a person passes by and says, Plato, how is Athens? I'd like to live there. Just want to know how the place is. And Plato says, oh, how is your place? So this person says, oh, it's a beautiful place, lovely people, and it's a great place to be in. So Plato says, that is exactly how Athens is. So what I want to bring to your attention here is that a lot of how we visualize, a lot of how we see the world depends on how we would like to see people. So today I'm extremely happy. Right now I'm absolutely thrilled being with you all, sharing this moment in my life with you. And I think personally that all of you are already on a great path of development and improvement. I was here a few minutes earlier because Nena Ji had mentioned that it's a good idea to come a little earlier so that you can see what we are doing. And I was really impressed with the manner how the meditation process was going on. The words that I'm sorry, I don't remember the person who was taking the session, but the person who was in charge of taking you through that process of meditation, he was so much in control. The language he used, it was extremely positive. Somaji, thank you so much for mentioning the name. Yes, so what I'd like to draw to your attention is, please think about how do you see others and how do you want to see others. So I think it's important how you see others, because that is also going to reflect on how you want to reinvent, revitalize, and redefine yourself. I can see someone mentioning as Somaji the Great. Thank you so much, Sunil, for letting me know how much he is respected here. The next thing is, how do you treat people? Now, I'm sure a lot of you would say, oh, I treat people absolutely fine. I think we all do, to a large extent. But the question here is, how do you treat people? Not necessarily people whom you know, people you don't know. Perhaps it's a cashier at the supermarket, or perhaps it's a person who cleans the corridors of your building where you stay. How do you treat people? Treating people is very, very important, or how you treat people. For the simple reason, because it's a reflection of how you are. Do you treat people, every person, the same way that you would treat perhaps people whom you are close to, your friends, your family, your relatives, and maybe even some of the VIP guests that you consider as important? Do you treat everyone the same? I know it's not easy, but I would like you to focus on this. Coming to my life, I think the person or the people whom I learned this from are my parents. When I was growing up, I would always see my parents treating anybody who came to our home the same. Anyone would receive the same hospitality, would receive the same respect, the same care, the same attention. And I think that's a very beautiful way of treating people. In other words, it doesn't matter whether they are important enough or whether you don't know them much, but treating people the way perhaps you would like to be treated is also showing how progressive-minded you are. The third question, what is your view of the world? I think it's very much related to the first question. So what is your view of your world? That also helps you to redefine yourself. The second thing I would like to mention here is, would you like to examine? Thank you so much, Shailaja. It's great to know that you two have learned from your parents. I think we all learn so much from them. So next thing I'd like you to think about is examine the current world you have for yourself. Are you happy in that world? I want you to be very, very critical here. And you don't have to discuss it with me or with others in the session. But are you happy in the world you are in? Or how do you think of the world you're a part of? It could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be just people around you. What are the feelings that come to your mind when you look at the world that you're a part of? Think about it, please. And the other thing is, how are you using this knowledge to create a new path? Thank you so much, Sunil. Thank you so much. I look forward to receiving the feedback at the end of the session. Moving on with the session is how each of you, how are you utilizing the knowledge you have today to create the new path that you wish to take, to move forward, to improve and develop? Are you aware that you are moving towards a new path? For those of you who are not, I'd like to specifically mention here that all of us are on a new journey. The pandemic has created such an impact in our lives that without us realizing, all of us are on a new journey. So I'd like you to think about, even if you have just children, there are children here, please think about how you are utilizing the knowledge you currently have to make that new path. Before we move forward, any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask me the question if there is anything you would like to ask at this point of time. Okay, if there are no questions particularly, we'll move on. The next thing is, of course, to practice resilience and gratitude. And I think today Somaji has already given us an idea on how important it is to feel grateful. Grateful for who we are, grateful to be a part of the beautiful world we are in. So gratefulness. And when I think about gratefulness, I think about a trip I made in 2018. I have shared this in various workshops, but I'd like to take this opportunity to share with all of you too. When I talk about gratitude, this is one thought that comes to my mind, one event that comes to my mind. In 2018, my family and I, we were part of the Kerala floods. I'm not sure how many of you were part of the floods. It was a very, very critical time in our life because my father was suffering from cancer. He was suffering from the 4th stage of lung cancer. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, in fact, Naina ji had mentioned, Shailaja, that you have an agenda which is all about gratitude. So I'd like to share this story with you because it's a story which definitely taught me a lot about who I am and what are the areas I need to improve on. So coming back to the story, my father was suffering severely from cancer, and my mother is also elderly. And we were in India, and my children, they were also part of the trip. So the next day, we were supposed to take my father to the hospital. The previous 2 days, it was absolutely stormy. There was a lot of rain and there was no electricity. So the next day morning, we were told that, in fact, we were told by the Navy team that had come to each of the homes in our village, saying, you have 15 minutes to leave the house. There's going to be a flood. You have to leave immediately. And I think you can imagine what I was going through, because the first thing was I needed to get my parents to safety, my father to the hospital. He was having breathing issues, and it was rather cold as well. So fortunately, to cut the story short, we were able to, thanks to God, we were able to get my parents on a boat. And my children and I, we were able to walk to the next town, which was around 2.5 hours because of the flood waters. Now, through it all, every step of the way, I was extremely grateful. And I'm not trying to say that, oh, what a magnanimous person I am, far from it. I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that every time we face challenges, there are a lot of things we can feel grateful about. In my case, let me tell you what was going in our favor. The first step, my parents were safe. They wouldn't have been able to walk 2.5 hours to the next town. The second, my children were grown up. Thank God for that, because it's so important. Yes, it is a very, very personal story. And I'd like to share it with you because I just want to tell you that all of us can be grateful at various times in our life. So coming back to the story, my children were grown up. In fact, both of them are adults. I was so grateful to God that I didn't have to carry them. I wouldn't have been able to carry 2 children and make my way through the flood waters. So I was grateful for that. The third thing was we were able to take my father to the hospital on that same day. And the fourth thing is we were able to reach safety. By the time my father and mother had reached the town through the boat, or with the help of the boat, we had friends of ours who took them to their home. It was such a blessed moment. But what what are the things that were not going in our favor, if I wanted to think about, was the fact that our house was, of course, getting flooded, and we had to leave in a rush. There was nothing with us except probably the clothes that we had on. And I just had time to take a set of clothing for all of us and, of course, our documents, and we had to rush. And my father was getting extremely tired because it was very cold, and he had developed pneumonia during that trip. So there were a lot of things which were not working in our favor. But I think what was working in our favor was a lot more important and significant, and that was adding value to our life, for which I'm truly grateful even today. So sometimes there are moments we might think, oh my God, things are so dark, but you will see light, trust me. So moving on to the next one is about, how would you like to be seeing yourself? Are you seeing yourself the way you would like to see yourself? When I ask this question, it's not about the money you have only. It's about how much of the person that you are today. Are you happy being whom you are? Can I see a show of hands? How many people are very happy being who they are? Thank you so much. Thank you. It's absolutely, and in case any of you are not happy about who you are today, you can work on that. You can work on that so that you become who you are meant to be. Now, becoming who you are meant to be doesn't mean you become perfect. Thank you so much, Samina. I'm glad to know that you're very happy being yourself. It's not about being perfect. None of us are perfect. It's about accepting who you are and working on yourself. So what I would like you to, all of you, to focus on, to make it a reality, if it's not a reality yet, what can we do each day to focus and become better? Now, what does the pandemic currently inspire us to change? The first thing is get connected. I think Nena and Nenaji and Brainciti, I'm glad to know that you have a wonderful personality and the serenity and the courage. Thank you so much, Colonel Nisar. Thank you for sharing that. I believe, yes, I'm sure all of you have the courage. And I think Brainciti and, of course, Nenaji, that itself is a great example for us to know how the pandemic can inspire people to change. Get connected. I think all of you have been great in connecting. The second is, of course, there are plenty of opportunities to be awakened, as you all have seen. Nurture relationships. I'm sure many of you have a very good relationship with each other today because of the fact that you have been so much connected every day in the last, how many days is it? How many days has it been, Nenaji, since you have started?
I'm not sure exactly. Shiva ma'am, which day it was today? It crossed 365 days.
383.
383, thank you.
Yeah. Tulsi ma'am is our in charge for Dubai Club. So she is there from initial days. So.
Hi Tulsi ma'am,
Thank
good to see you.
Thank you, thank you.
So then we also talk about nurturing, of course, relationship here and pursuing your learnings. I'd like to ask this question on how many of you are learning something new today? Something you haven't learned before. One of you to please let me know. Yes, please tell me. I think that's Somanji.
First of all, thank you for your really involved presentation so that participated. Number one thing is that though we know most of the things, to really segregate and say that the things which are working in my favor or the blessings what is available for me from this universe is much larger and higher than the challenges and difficulties I am facing.
Absolutely.
Good learning.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that is predominantly what I'd like to share with all of you, because knowing that we are part of something so much more beautiful, something so much more greater, enables us to feel a lot more appreciative and full of gratefulness for what we are and where we are today. So the first thing would be, I think, to think about is what inspires us. The second is, of course, improving and updating ourselves. The third is the time to cherish and time to let go. Now, this is very important here, because I'd like to once again tell you a small story here. A few years ago, I was part of a personal crisis, a very traumatic crisis that I went through. And during this crisis, I was forced to ask myself, do I want to let go, or do I want to hold on to it? Because it's very important to let go of what does not add value in our life. And that can be anything, including relationships. It takes courage. It's very painful, especially when that relationship is very close to you, but it has to be done. It's literally like supposing you were shot with a gun and you have a bullet on your arm. You have to take it out. It will hurt, but it will hurt you more if you allow the bullet to stay in your arm. So please know what to cherish, know what to let go, because you have to know what is good for you. And that includes relationships as well. So we now move on to some more tips regarding resilience. The first thing, of course, how can you build up your resilience? I think all of you are extremely proficient in understanding about how much equipped we can be to face life. But let me share with you a few more tips. The first thing would be support. Reach out to people around you. If you have people who care for you, you can be sure that many of them would be happy to help you out. At the same time, do not expect. Now, you might think I'm being contradictory here. No, I'm not. While you value, cherish who you have in your life, it's always important to keep your expectations from people, including your own family members, to the minimum. How many of you agree with me and disagree with me? I would love to know that. Can I see a show of hand, please? I think we have Tulasi ji who's coming online.
Ma'am, could you please repeat? My son came and he was asking something.
No issues, ma'am. I'd be happy to tell you. I just wanted to ask you, that is, how many of you believe that we should keep the expectations from others to the minimum, including from our own family?
Not minimum, ma'am. We don't expect anything from others. Don't expect it, because expectations will make us more stressful. So do liberally.
Thank you so much. That is
That's
exactly
my experience.
What I wanted you to tell me, because
I second Tulsi ma'am 100%, because we have taken this as a pledge with my wife, that whatever you get from others, even your children, it should be taken as a bonus if it comes. Otherwise, just leave it. You'll be very happy.
Absolutely. And that is something probably you all have learned it many years ago. But I learned it a few years ago, because through my own life experiences and my personal crisis, I understood that I'm so blessed to be part of the loving family that I am. However, it's always important to keep our expectations to the minimum. At the same time, appreciate more. And interestingly, what I have realized is the less we expect from people, the more we are able to appreciate. I don't know how many of you also believe the same thing, but I've actually come to that conclusion. I think years ago when I would expect, I think my sense of gratitude was probably a lot less. But today my sense of gratitude is extremely, I would say, at an all-time high, but my expectations have come down. So I think that's it's something which actually enables us to understand that keeping our expectations low is better for us and better for the world as well, who's the people around us as well. The next thing is about self-care. I think you all are very, very comfortable in taking care of yourself. So I would not like to talk in detail about it. And the next thing is about time for discovery. When I talk about, absolutely, reducing expectations, increasing your happiness, you're absolutely spot on. Now, when I talk about time for discovery, how many of you have had the opportunity to discover something about yourself during this pandemic? Something that you hadn't known, not about the session, not about the 5 a.m. club or Brainciti. Let's take it away to your personal life. Have you discovered? Yes, please.
Good morning. I started to speak myself. I started to, spend time with me.
How did you do that?
I will ask myself, oh, hi, Abu Bakr, how are you? What you are feeling? What is today? What happened in your workplace? Anything pending or anything need to do tomorrow or any important, something like all the things I will discuss with me.
Thank you so much.
It's a new invention within me.
Absolutely. I'm so happy. Thank you, Sunil. I think, Sunilji, you have talked about self-talk here. Thank you so much for sharing. I think you mentioned your name was Abu Bakr.
You are right.
Thank you so much, Abu Bakr, sir, for sharing that. I think it's very, very important that we give.
We have Murugeshan sir also who raised hand. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because this discovery, for this, I just years of attending many webinars, more than 2,300 sessions I attended. I was able to connect many people. I was able to help each other. This strength, I was able to discover during this pandemic.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ji. Really appreciate that. And thank you so much, Colonel Nisar as well, for sharing how you have been able to teach people about self-love, self-respect, and discover yourself. I think it's very, very important. And the next thing I think what is important in terms of building up our resilience is mentoring. Because mentoring also enables us to reach out to people. It also enables us to value the people in our life better. In fact, I'm sure a lot of you have mentors. They could either be known people or even people that you may be looking up through the writings they have written. So that also builds up our resilience. Now, another thing which I'd like to focus on here when I talk about resilience is being mindful. And mindfulness, as we all know, is paying more attention to the moment, what we are experiencing, what we listen. Teaching through a YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Shailaja ji, as well, for sharing that. So mindfulness also adds to making sure that we become more resilient here. And I'd like to share a small story here with you when I talk about mindful. Many, many years ago, in an ancient land, there was a queen who decided to send the princess to a wise teacher. Thank you so much, Sunilji, for mentioning about what you have started to do as part of your discovery. Coming back to the story, it's about this queen who decides to prepare the princess for her coronation. And she decides to send this princess to a wise teacher. So the princess goes to the wise teacher, and the wise teacher tells the princess, in order to be the queen, I want you to stay in a forest by yourself and come back after 1 year and tell me what you heard. So the princess says, that's fine. And the princess comes back after 1 year. And the teacher says, what did you hear? So the princess says, I heard the sounds of nature. I heard the sounds of animals. So the teacher says, you have to go back. Come back when you listen more. She comes back after days and nights and says, there are some things I've started listening now. So the teacher says, what are they? So what the princess says is that the princess has started listening to the blades of grass that have started opening when the dewdrops touch them. Now, when you think about it, it's about mindfulness here. So mindfulness not only builds up our resilience, it also helps us become a better leader. In fact, I would love to listen to the input from ᴄᴏ here, because I believe today she's one of the most sparkling, and I'm quoting someone who has mentioned here, one of the most sparkling personalities I have come across in my life, and I don't flatter here. And I would love to know about how mindfulness may have affected her to be a better leader. ᴄᴏ.
Yeah, thank you, SEETHA. Actually, yes, I was a person who never experienced meditation, who, of course, self-talk was something which I was doing. Affirmations was something which I was introduced in 5 AM. And also listening to others, I think, which brought me, like we were talking about what changed. So listening to everybody, what they want to pursue and how I can help them, give that the platform. So that is something. For example, I saw people that they are having this notion of presentation slides or something like poster, or simply making your own introduction. You know, we just say, I am so-and-so from this person. So I tell them, go deep, you know, tell us more about yourself. So talking about themselves and showing their introduction. So all these things have given me a chance to bring in new things every single day. Like I always say, I've completed a full notebook almost, thinking about what I should do, what I should do better, not only for yourself, but also for the society. So which is, I think, mindfulness. By the way, till I joined 5 AM, I didn't know what is mindfulness and I didn't know what is spirituality. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think I was the princess which the queen sent it to the forest.
That's such a very humble statement. But then humility is something that you would expect from a leader. I personally believe that when I think of leaders, thank you so much, ᴄᴏ, for sharing with us the insight that has led you to take this journey that you have. But when I think of leaders, I always believe a true leader is someone who is humble. And when I talk about humility, it's not about being quiet or submissive. No, that is not humility. Humility includes making sure that you retain your self-respect, your dignity, but at the same time, you are humble enough to accept your flaws. You're humble enough to know that there is a lot more you need to improve and work on. It's great to know that you have really, I would say, bloomed into the person that you are, and you're continuing to bloom, ᴄᴏ. Thank you. And we also now move on to trying new things. I think there is a question coming in. And Nazar Khanji, can you please have probably the discussion after the session, please? I would love to listen to you, and I would love to share with you anything that you may have that you wish to discuss. So with your kind permission, I will move on. As far as I'm concerned, I've actually been able to discover, I think, something in me during this pandemic time, which is relating to mentoring. I have actually now started, as part of the professional services that I offer, a mentoring program. And the person who inspired me was my daughter. Because many years ago, she would tell me, Mama, why don't you start a mentoring program? You would be, she used to say she believes that I would be good at it. And I would tell her, no, I don't think so. I want to do that because of the lack of confidence that I had to create a program. Of course, I used to mentor, and even today I do mentor people, which is not relating to the structured professional program that I offer today. So it was a huge discovery for me, and I thank my daughter for that, actually, for initiating me on this new path of discovery. So just like what Naina mentioned about how the 5 AM club has inspired her to become a lot more than what she is, I have to thank my daughter here for initiating me into a new discovery about myself. Managing, of course, I think finances, I think that goes without saying. That is also so important when it comes to resilience here, being watchful, of course. And the next thing would be about the change. Thank you so much, Colonel Nisar, much appreciated. Thank you. In fact, it would be interesting. I just have to mention it here, although I said I will mention the comments later on. I think Colonel Nisar has just mentioned that he finds me very patient. You should ask my family, especially my children, about how patient I am. I think you would be in for a rude shock. So when I saw that, I thought about my family. So I just thought I'll share it with you. The next thing, of course, is valuing. I think I've already mentioned about valuing relationships that matter. And of course, reminding ourselves of the commitment that we have in life. I think, like I mentioned earlier about who we are, what is the purpose in our life. I think that's also very important. The next thing what I'd like to mention is, how can you start things over? Maybe it's a time that you started things over, whether it is a job, whether it's even a relationship. It's time to think about it. Maybe some things need to be kept aside for you to move forward, because they may not be necessarily adding value or positivity into your existence. The next thing is about looking at perspectives, looking at things more objectively without judging. When I talk about judging here, what comes to my mind is being in the field that I am in today. It has enabled me to be a lot less judgmental than what I was years ago. Because when we are looking at being judgmental, we take away a lot of the benefit that we can gain and the benefit that others can gain as well. For example, I think years ago when I would come across someone who's having a different personality from me, I might kind of decide, oh, should I really talk a lot more to this person? I'm not sure if the person will be able to understand me. I'm not sure if the person will want to speak to me. So once again, that is an example of judging. The less we judge, the more we are able to reach out. Utilizing our life to the full. I don't need to discuss that because all of you are already in it full swing. Look at opportunities, plan our progression, invent and prioritize. Invent new opportunities, prioritize the existing opportunities, developing motivation, good habits, and of course, in terms of life lessons, I'd like to mention this to you. Sometimes the past tends to be a big burden on our head. How many of you think that is so? Do you think that your past is haunting you? Is it creating a problem for you today because you are still stuck on the past? How many of you believe that the past is bothering you today? Thank you, Shailajaji. You have just said no. Anybody else? If there is anybody who believes that the past is bothering them, forget the dead past, Okay, brilliant. Okay. Great. If you believe that you can actually ignore the past, that's fine. Because I'd like to mention this to you. That is, today a lot of people, they ask me, oh, you must have been a good student, SEETHA. And I tell them, no, I wasn't. I was a very bad student. I think people who knew me from the past would say, oh, yeah, SEETHA, yeah, I know, I remember SEETHA. No, she wasn't a good student, they would tell you. And the fact is I wasn't. But people today are surprised. So I just want to tell you here that the past does not define us. We might have been whatever we may have been, but we have the choice to move forward, to become different, to redefine ourselves and become whom we wish to be. That's the first thing. Harnessing the power of self-counseling. This is a lesson which I'd like to share with you, which has helped me a lot. When I went through the crisis a few years ago, which I had shared with you earlier, what had helped me a lot was the self-counseling I gave myself. And for self-counseling, I think it was my belief, of course, belief in all the learnings which I had received from my parents, and of course the love, and of course the belief in the Almighty, which helped me to counsel myself. And that, I think, has been a great revelation for me. So what I'd like to mention to all of you here today is, if you think you have the ability to counsel yourself, help you to go towards the path you need to take, you can be the most significant advisor to yourself. So if you think you have that ability, please work on that. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should not ask someone else for counseling. No, please don't. You can definitely do so. It depends from person to person. But if you think you have the strength to guide yourself based on the learnings you have received from people who love you, and of course, your beliefs in God, I would strongly recommend that this is a great step in empowerment. So it's literally like your guide is within yourself. So please think about that, because it has helped me immensely. And of course, my mentors in my life also have helped me immensely. And I think here what I'd like to mention also is the importance of motivation, self-motivation. I know all of you are self-motivated, but I'd like to mention a few critical areas which could help us even further. The first thing I think is obviously discipline and cultivating, I think, as I mentioned earlier, about good habits, focusing on giving than receiving. That also helps us to be very self-motivated. When the focus is on giving rather than receiving, you are a lot more self-motivated to do things because you want to make the difference. And keep positive people all around you. I think all of you are extremely fortunate because I can see there's so much of positivity radiating from each of you. Upgrading skills, keeping life simple. That is also another tip for self-motivation. When I say keeping life simple is, as much as possible, do things which are purposeful, which are meaningful, which are effective, and not do anything with the intention to impress others. Now, this is a mistake that many of us do, trying to impress people. It does not help you in our journey of redefining and reinventing ourselves. Be true to who you are. The next thing is, of course, I think I mentioned earlier, do not seek appreciation, keep expectations to the minimum, and you will definitely believe you're more grateful for what you have received. Now, I'd like to come back to the session here. That is the session we did for the first, I think the opening session when I asked you to write the letter. I would now love one of you, if possible, to read out your letter. If it is not too private, please. Can one of you please read your letter?
Can I?
Of course, please do.
My dear love, hi dear, how are you doing? I am missing you in this COVID time because your physical presence always makes my life energetic and refreshing. You are always motivating and encouraging me. Anyway, in your this busy schedule, you are calling me once in a while and messaging me. That is a great relaxation in my life. To end as early as possible so that we will meet again and spend pleasurable moments. May God bless you and family.
Thank you so much, Tulasi ji. But could you please tell me or tell us all from whom this letter was?
This is the letter from my friends, but I wrote it as a comment, but the friends are always remembering me because when we are meeting together, I am the person starting smile. While after looking at me, they all will smile. They are saying, after looking at you, our tension goes. So whenever we are meeting, there is a positive vibration, and every year we are having get together also. So people are asking, we will not have one get together, we will make more get togethers. So they are waiting this corona to end to meet again.
Thank you. Thank
Now
you
we
so
are
much.
doing the Zoom meeting. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tulasi ji. I would like to mention that you have a beautiful smile, and there is something very, very calm and serene about you. And I wish you always, I pray that you always have that serenity in you. I'm not surprised that your friends value you so much. Thank you so much. I would now welcome one more letter, please. And this has to be not from a group, but from one individual. Can I have someone else who is comfortable?
Yeah, Arunima, are you there? Arunima, have you done your letter?
If she's not there, I will.
Somebody who is new to the group. Alcina, did you write the letter?
Yes.
Okay, Alcina. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Letter from my mom.
Okay. I'm sorry, can we see you?
Can you
please?
come on camera?
If that's all right with you. No, that's fine. If supposing they are more comfortable, it's fine. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is the letter from my mom. Dear Nandu, I hope you are fine. Here we are well. How was your days? Is it going well? Are you sleeping well? Do your studies going well? If you need anything, don't forget to inform me. Pray every day, trust in God, study well, sleep well, cooperate with everyone, and be safe. We are praying to you. Be bold.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Your name again, please. Can you just repeat it? Alcina. Thank you so much, Alcina ji, for telling us or sharing the very, very intimate letter from your mother. Now, what I'd like to bring to your notice here is whatever letter, the kind of letter you have written from someone who loves you and respects you the most, that is a definition of your own inner belief. So what you have probably deep down inside, that is coming forth in the letter when you are putting in the words. So even if it's someone whom you believe is loving you the most, someone who respects you the most, whatever words that you are writing on this letter, on the paper, is coming from you. And it's a reflection of what you think about yourself to be. So what I'd like to mention to you is that this letter is basically a revelation of who you are in terms of the respect you have for yourself. So all of you here who are, of course, part of this session today, what I'd like to mention is respecting yourself as much as you respect those around you, your family, and the people whom you are, the world around you. It's equally important. And please, I mention this especially to the ladies of the group, because I have often noticed that ladies, there is a lot of tendency for them to feel guilty due to the various roles they take up in life. Please do not feel guilty. And there is nothing wrong in loving yourself as much as you love your family and your friends. Because unless you respect yourself, you love yourself, how can we expect others to respect or love us? So I think what I'd like to conclude this session before we move on to the question answer and the discussion session is, please remember, when a crisis happens, we have three choices. We can let the crisis define us, let the crisis destroy us, or let the crisis strengthen us. And with that, I would like to conclude the session, and I would like to once again thank ᴄᴏ and Brainciti for giving me this opportunity today to be with you all for this lovely session. And when I say lovely session, I'm not talking necessarily about the session that I've given you all, but the fact that I was able to be part of a session that is so positive and that is so informative and productive for growth and progress. Now we can move on to the discussion. And please do share with me any of your queries you might have with regard to what we have discussed. Thank you.
Oh, wasn't that wonderful? Didn't I say she's a mesmerizing speaker? I was almost overwhelming with a few of your thoughts. I think, yes, it was deep. It was a little heavy, I guess, for early morning. All right. Before we go back to our usual person who gives us lots of feedback, let us hear from new people. How did they feel? Because then, of course, we will come back to Major Sir, Somaji, Sunil Sir, Tulsi Ma'am. We'll come back to you. Let us hear from people, probably someone who's joined for the first time. Is there anyone? First timer today? I could see Jay. Is Jay new? Got a very attractive DP. Thank you so much, SEETHA, especially for that letter to yourself. Very powerful and innovative.
Thank you. It is indeed my pleasure. And
yeah.
Sorry, tell me.
Why we are not having people who are coming forward with questions? Everything is settled, or?
No, in fact, I think basically it means two things. If you have no questions, it could mean, oh, it was so boring. Oh my God. Or it could be that, oh, there is nothing, whatever she said, there was nothing to discuss. So it could be two things. So I'm not sure which one I should believe. So boring, or maybe it was simple enough.
Yeah, it was very mesmerizing. So there are no questions asked. We had Major Sir who has sent a chat message.
Oh, please.
So let us check with the Major Ji. Major Narayanan.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. Did you get a chance to listen to the session?
It is not a chance. It is an opportunity, and it's a blessing, I should say. I can't say I chanced upon this, eagerly waiting for it ever since the notification about this came in our WhatsApp group. Since I heard so much about the Toastmasters SEETHA, I wanted to experience and enjoy the first-hand experience of listening to a powerful speaker. And true to your description, Naina, your description of SEETHA, she never failed. And in fact, she even surpassed our expectation. The plethora of subjects that you have covered, the topic that she's been able to speak on, would always overwhelm any person who's faced with calamity or crisis, especially in such a pandemic times. She covered a gamut of experiences like gratitude, strengthening our mind, opening our heart, writing a letter, forgiveness, and whatnot. I'll be failing in my duty if I do not mention the smiling demeanor that SEETHA kept throughout her presentation. That is more assuring, more self-assuring, more than anything else. It is said a person will always never be the same except for two things: the books that you read and the people that you meet. In SEETHA, I had met a person who's read so many books and who's been able to transform all of us with her teachings. May the great way continue, and may you conquer so many hearts, SEETHA. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much, ᴄᴏ And if there are any suggestions for improvement as well, suggestions for what could have been better in the session, please let me know. I think ᴄᴏ has already sent you the details. I think including my email address, please, ᴄᴏ, if you can share it with people so that with our audience as well. And of course, with the people who have been very gracious to join us for the session. And I would love to know as well if there are any suggestions or feedback for further improvement. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me pull few people because they are hiding behind the camera. So Shankar ji is here. Shankar ji will go. Athiya ji, Shiba Gopi ma'am. Yes.
We're not sure if maybe they might even have heard the whole session.
No. They have.
Actually, I think I'd like to mention this to you. Whenever we laugh at ourselves, it's extremely relaxing. I don't know how many of you have experienced this. Whenever we laugh at ourselves, it's something very, very, there's a lot of freedom that you experience. In fact, the other day, I'd like to just mention, thank you so much, Somaji. In fact, the other day, I was walking on the street with my children and I fell down. And I just fell down and, my son mentioned, I was wondering what you're doing. So I asked him, what do you mean? You just saw your mother fall down and you're telling me that I was wondering what you're doing, Because according to him, when I fell down, I somersaulted and I fell down. So generally most people don't somersault and fall down when they just fall down. But you somersaulted, so I was wondering, what are you trying to do? So it was so funny, actually. It was hilarious. So I actually had a good time laughing at myself. But my poor children, they were a bit concerned whether I might have broken a leg or something, but it was hilarious. But I think it's important that we are able to laugh at ourselves and laugh at ourselves the most in this world rather than anybody else or anything else. It helps. It helps us, I think, to be even stronger than what we can be. I don't know how much you agree with it.
And can you believe it? Is it my voice?
Yes, Naina, we can hear you. Please do share with us.
Okay. And can you believe it? We used to wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m. thing, and we laugh. We have a laughter segment. So initial days when we had this laughter segment, everybody in my house, like the first day, they came out and they were like, what's wrong with her? And later they started shutting down the door before the laughter session started. But these days, they don't mind. Even, during the day, if I'm kind of angry or making some sound, they will start laughing. Ha, 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 ha. So they'll start, yeah. So, that is gone in the culture. And okay, coming back to the feedback. Shiba ma'am, are you ready? Oh, we have 2 Shibas today. There you go.
Nainaji, give me 1 minute time. I'll
okay.
give the feedback.
Okay, come next.
Preparing my breakfast, sorry.
Bring breakfast also. Okay, Somaji, are you ready?
Anytime.
Yes.
If you allow any time, you are not allowing.
No. I have removed all the ice blocks with Naina.
Abu, I will mute you.
Yeah. Hey, what do you say that I don't know whether you got the logo incidentally. The logo speaks for yourself. That's your brand. Exploring and inspiration.
Yes, it is.
It's actually your brand. I learned that I was confused with my spelling. So mesmerizing, I learned that spelling thanks to you. Now I checked up all the time. It was confusing. The session was so engaging and engrossed. And to lighten everybody, I can read out the letter I wrote, but don't ask me from whom I got it. That who wrote, you don't ask me, okay?
Somaji, should I stop YouTube live?
No problem. I'm not. Maybe you can stop. Yeah, right. I think you can stop actually. Thanks. It's actually Sajiv Chetan. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, my love for you is real, genuine, and sincere. That's what I written online only. So I was feeling when we are all happy, generally, especially in 5am Club, why people take so much time to write a positive a letter for yourself. I asked that question. So tell me why people take that much of time. Anybody can just say, no, there'll be a loud one.
Each individual is unique.
No, can't hear.
Okay, each individual is unique. All
Yeah.
all are not thinking in the same way.
You are muted.
Sorry.
You are muted, Sitaji.
No, we can hear. We can hear
No,
him.
Each individual is unique. All are not thinking in the same way. And experience also are different. That's why. Why should others think on your line?
I want to hear from SEETHA ji.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat what you were saying?
No, you are muted, so we could not hear.
Sorry. No,
I'll repeat.
Yeah.
So Somaji says, why people took so much time to write the letter?
Okay, all right. You want me to answer that, Somaji?
Yes.
All right. In fact, I personally believe it's because when there's a lot that you are going through, not just from your environment, but also from within you. Like when you have doubts about who you are, it's not about that, when you don't have doubts, you are perfect. No, what it means is when you have clarity about who you are with regard to your, not just your, I would say merits, but also the areas of improvement, there is a certain kind of confidence you get. And this confidence enables you to love yourself, have better belief about yourself. And this belief enables us to write that letter faster. So if you find that even if you have someone who loves you the most, someone who respects you the most, if you have doubts about how you can put your thoughts into paper, it also is a reflection that there are certain blocks in you which is holding you back still. And if you are able to write quickly, it means deep down inside, even if there are blocks currently, you can definitely overcome that very, very fast. Because it is already, you are already conscious of it being in you. I hope I've been able to explain that effectively so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because not everyone are aware what they need from the universe, maybe in that way. If you are,
sorry, please continue.
Yeah, if you know what you want from universe, you rather write it. I want this, or I'm thankful for this. So sometimes people take time, they don't know what is gratitude writing because they are not aware what things they already have or own or possess. Similarly, it's writing a letter.
True, true. I mean, thank you for that input. In fact, what I'd like to add to that is also, it's a reflection of self-love. So it's not just about what you are expecting or what you would love to get or receive from the universe. It is about self-love. Because so many of us, I find, we are held back because we don't love ourselves the way we ought to, the way we are supposed to. Because many of us are full of guilt, and this guilt could be due to various other reasons. But this guilt creates a certain inhibition from loving yourself. Because I have had some people during my workshops ask me this question, whether when you are loving yourself, isn't it a reflection of selfishness? It is not. For you to love others very, very well, I think you have to love yourself to be able to give that love to others.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's go to Sunilji. Sunilji,
Yes,
we want to know your letter.
Okay, my letter. It is not great in it. Dear Sunilji, Sunil sir, good morning, sir. You are my mentor. Unless I haven't met you, my life would have been a different one. Your spoken English classes, the motivation, the confidence I got from your mesmerizing sound, etc., made me such an individual the society love and respect. I have no words to express my love and respect towards you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. This is the letter I have written. And actually, so many people, they are not writing, they are saying to me personally, since long. SEETHA ji, regarding the feedback, it was simply, you are a blessed trainer. It was simply superb, gentle and firm. You touched the hearts of everybody with your healing words that flowed from the bottom of your heart, that accumulated by continually facing extreme adverse circumstances in your short lifespan. You helped all the participants dive deep into their inner mind to see their real self, to experience, to enjoy the true happiness of life. Yes, love yourself and let others love you. Great message. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that, Sunilji. And like I mentioned, I think a lot of what I have been able to share with you today is my own learning. And I think the best way we are able to share what we have learned is from the challenges we have faced. Because I think it always helps when we are able to relate to people through our own life journey. Thank you so much. And I enjoyed
the great coincidence was, and I always used to say since long, unless you love yourself, nobody will love you, and you can't love anybody. I always said this.
Very true.
Unless you love yourself, you can't love anybody. Nobody will love you.
That's very, very true. And your letter also was very insightful, because it gave us a glimpse. It's actually quite different from the other letters we have been fortunate to listen to. And I would love to share my input with you regarding that letter, if I may. In fact, Sunilji, your letter basically reflects on the importance that you believe you add to the world around you.
Yes.
And that comes from the purpose that you believe you are a part of, and the intention of the universe to have put you where you are today.
Thank you.
So I think that's very enlightening. And I'm so glad we had such a variety of letters here, that we were able to get insights into so many of the beliefs that all of you have about yourself. So thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. We have a couple of more people. You have time, right?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Yes, Shiba Gopi, go ahead.
Good morning, all of you. Good morning, Seetha ma'am.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to switch on my video because of the morning stuff and all. No. Yeah. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Really apologizing. I was not actually. I was completely engrossed in that in your speech. It was wonderful, amazing. What else adjective I can add with this word? I don't know. It was so superb, ma'am. As Nanaji said, I'm really overwhelmed. Many takeaways I have. You taught us, enlightened us with the different dimensions. From the beginning, you told us to write the letter, right, from your loved one. That time I was so confused that from whom the letter can be. From my father, from my mom, from my friends, or my spouse, or my children. I was totally confused. So finally, I selected a letter from my father, who I lost my father 4 years back. So I want to express my gratitude to my father, who was the first person who helped me, who motivated me in so many ways. Then it was all about the session was helped me a lot in such a way that how you can love yourself, find out your potential, be gratitude, forgiveness, importance of kindness, everything you taught us within. Though all these things we are doing daily in our 5A session, it is a concentrated form of our 5A session, I should say, and with a deep enlightenment note. Thank you so much, Seetha ma'am, for this wonderful session. Actually, I was so engrossed in this session. So, 2 aloo parota got burnt. So I was preparing. So I was completely into this session. So thank you once again. Thank you, Nanaji, for bringing such a wonderful speaker into this 5AM club.
Thank you so much, Shivaji. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I think it's the first time someone has complimented me that even their cooking got affected because of my session. Thank you. You made my day.
Really. Yeah.
But 2 aloo parota lost.
Yeah, 2 aloo parota lost.
The universe lost 2 aloo paratas. Let's go to Nisarji. Nisarji, Puttukandla. Okay.
Not today. A wonderful morning to all of you. And at a lighter note, Seetha ma'am, you can compensate that both aloo parota for Shiva. Absolutely no words, honestly. I've been hearing a lot of people, but the way you started with that smile, till the end, that smile was there on your face. Then your passion, your involvement, your eye movements. I mean, absolutely wonderful from the start. Because I've seen people doing it for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But your case, I was noticing that it is from the start till the end. So that is really great. And I have, if I shall not, I'll be failing my duty to compliment you. Okay. Now, I have one question first.
Please.
Now, when you are good to people, the way you behave, the way you talk, the way you are empathetic, you are compassionate, I've noticed, I don't know whether there's something wrong with me, that some of them at least take you for granted. Honestly, at workplace, at home, and at times, I normally don't take any cognizance of that feeling also. But at times, that question comes into your mind. Don't you have to be a little tough with your family, with your workplace, or with others? At times, I used to feel. So what is the best option? I think you should have a mix of everything. When you want to be tough, you have to be tough. Because I changed totally myself from my 33 years of experience in the Indian Army, where everything works on order. But I put deliberate attempt for the last 5 years plus after my retirement in 2016. And I've been able to achieve up to some extent a wonderful patience, cool mind, take it easy, it's okay. Even if I hear something wrong, I just leave it there, just leave it, let it go. So I would like an answer to that. And just want to add on, we had numerous takeaways today. And the first thing I liked was, a coach and a mentor. I think every one of us need it. We all take it for granted. Oh, now I have reached a stage, I'm on my own. No, every one of us require a coach or mentor, at least at some time when you are in a distress or when you are down, when your graph is down. Sure, because you cannot be 100% all the way. The second, of course, is, the motivation. I mean, it has to happen, at different time, not that continuous. Sometimes you're motivated, sometimes you go down. Every day, every hour, you are a different person. So that's another wonderful takeaway. Then people around you. You said positive people. Yes, it makes a lot of difference, especially in this difficult time. When, you are getting, overboarded and overloaded with so much of negative news from the TV, from the media, wherever it is. So that's another very important point. Then, of course, always Sri Ravi Shankar used to say that expectation reduces joy. And it's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Next, of course, what we follow every day, gratitude, forgiveness, Then another point I liked was the resolve. The resolve, the way you came out of that difficult time 2 years back. Then exploitation of the, difficult time again. You have to innovate something and get over that. That's what we did in the last 1 year plus. And finally, loving yourself. Very important. Very, very important. If you can't love yourself, you can't live others. You can't spread it to others. So thank you so much and wish you all the very best and looking forward to keep this interaction in future also. And thank you, Naina, ma'am. It was an absolute bliss for all of us today. Great day. God bless. And can you please answer my query now? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colonel Nisar, for giving me this very, very valuable input. And of course, some of the queries you have raised are very, very close to my heart. In fact, the first query which I'd like to answer is about how can you probably be careful about people who could take advantage of us? You can't. Now, you might wonder, what do you mean you can't? It's a good question again. The fact is, many years ago, I understand this question that you are coming from, or why you are raising this question, because many years ago, I had raised the same question to my father. And my father had, I think he had been my mentor since I was born till he passed away. So this question I asked him is because he was someone who used to be cheated left, right, and center all the time. And you would be surprised, Colonel Nisar, if you met him. You would wonder, why should a person keep giving people opportunities in getting cheated? So as his daughter, I was very upset, and I asked him, why don't you make sure you keep people at a distance, and you then, once you know who they are, you then accept them or trust them completely? And this is what he had to say. He told me, Seeth, he calls me Seeth. He said, Seeth, I don't want to take away the joy of living by doing that. And at that time, I was thinking, oh, what a poor innocent, what a gentle man he is, but he's so innocent. That's what came to my mind. But today, looking back, I admit that that probably is one of the most courageous things a human being can do. Because if you're able to trust people and then let them prove that they are not trustworthy, means you're giving them the power to actually hurt you if they wish to. Because it's like when you get one slap, then you take a step back. It's not like you're covering your face and you're meeting somebody and saying, hello, how are you? Because that way you will not get hurt. But the problem is you will not be able to know somebody if you close your hands or you cover your face because you're protecting yourself. So for us to actually enjoy the essence of living, we need to make sure that we are open in terms of our experiences from people. So today, what I do personally is that maybe I don't stretch it to the level that my father does. I don't think I have as good a heart as he has. But what I do is that I definitely keep my relationships, I would say, open, and I would trust people. At the same time, if they prove to me that they do not deserve the trust, then I would be cautious. But at that point of time when I was speaking to my father, my idea was that let me have a barrier around me. And if somebody's at the, outside the barrier, and if they are showing that they are worthy of my trust, I will open the door. And that is not the right attitude to have. So I definitely believe that you will be hurt, but that is part of life, Colonel Nisar. But if we keep ourselves open to experiences, if we are able to love people for who they are, unless they hurt you, you gain also in the process just as much as others gain from you. So that's the first answer to the query you had. The second one I would like to mention is, first of all, I'm a mentor. I'm not a coach. So when we talk about mentoring and coaching, there is a difference here. One of the difference, I wouldn't like to elaborate on that because of our time frame, but one of the differences is that unlike coaching, mentoring actually can be, despite the fact that it is very systematic and organized, it can be conducted in a more informal manner. At the same time, it is also something which does not have to be based on a specific area of improvement. For example, people don't have to have any issues to take up mentoring. If someone wants to improve the overall quality of their personal and professional existence, people can gain from mentoring. So that is another thing I would like to mention here, because definitely, like I think Colonel Nisar has just mentioned, you don't need to have reasons why you want to improve your life. Every effort that we make to improve our quality of life, at the same time enable others to lead a better life, creates an impact and creates value for the fact that we are existing today. And we need to make our existence count. It doesn't mean that people have to remember you when you leave, but the impact of what you have done can be your legacy. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And this salute is for your father. And, honestly, I mean, may Almighty God bless his soul in peace.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nisarji, for that wonderful question. Yes, we often get that feeling. And yes, Seethaji, actually, that was like nailing on the head. Why should we stop giving and having the pleasure of being a giver? And rather, forget about the world. What comes back to you comes back to you. It doesn't come back to you, it will come back in some other way. Great. Thank you so much. And we have successfully crossed the time limit for today. We will have one. Yeah, go
sure. Nena, just one more thing. Nenaji, one more thing I'd like to mention here. I've often been told by people, whenever they are hurt or whenever they do something for people, they always have the belief that it will either come back to them in some good way, or they expect that the universe will handle the person who have hurt them. Ideally, I would suggest is do not even think about that concept, about either receiving or enabling someone to get back what they deserve. Because today, when I look back, I remember I used to feel very angry with those people who have, cheated my father over and over. But today, I don't have anger about them. Because today I believe I don't want them in our life, but wherever they are, I'm happy for them. I want them to be happy. I wish them well. So I think for our own sake and our own peace of mind, if we are able to reach a level where we don't feel any such notions, it will be helping us to become a better human being.
Wow, that was too deep. Okay, I think we have a lot of followers for you now. Next time, whenever you're going to Kerala and having some session, please do let us know so that people out there can, after the pandemic, of course, because I know you have done lots of philanthropic activities in different parts of India. And so that was very nice and generous of you. So Tulsi ma'am was asking that we need you once again. So, don't worry. Yeah, she'll be part of our community anytime. So before we conclude, let's have Shailaja ma'am. Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Oh, some mesmerizing session as you. Your voice, style, and personality is so mesmerizing. Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session. And I got a letter from my dearest daughter, and it is actually a letter to me, to my mom also. Let me share 2 sentences. I love you, mom, and you are the most inspiring personality in my life, and you are the role model to me. Please, yeah. Very much, please, Pallavi. And I also learned all these virtues from my parents. Though they are educated only up to the primary level, they taught me as a university. Such innocent people are there, and I am sure that I am moving on the right path, and I consider myself as the most blessed one. My supportive husband and everything, I'm the most blessed one in the world, I think so. And I did a very much many things during the COVID period, and bringing 5AM, many people to the 5AM, and many competitions, and I never wasted a single moment in life in the COVID period. And so thank you, mom, ma'am, for your wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciated that, Shailaja ji. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your letter as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shailaja ma'am, for taking so much of effort in putting together your thoughts. I'm sure it takes a lot of effort to, having the gap, but still you have proving every time, coming back again and again, giving that wonderful feedback, trying to be your best, showing to your child that with the efforts, everything can be achieved, which is great thing, which I can say from everyone. Even Shiba ma'am, looking at her daughter started talking in the platforms, and looking at Shailaja ma'am, her daughter started participating, or rather daughter came first and the mother came later. And thank you, Sunil ji, for empowering lots of children, parents, adults, because teaching English language itself, talking and helping them, providing the platform to come and explore themselves. So Sunil ji runs an English minds, like our Ignite Minds, wherein everyone comes together and practices speaking in English. So let me tell you, SEETHA ji, that it really took a lot of efforts for most of them to put forward their thoughts in front of you, and probably they'll be writing in their native language, using some help and putting it in English and delivering it to you. So this is directly from heart. Before I close, yes, SEETHA ma'am, I think she speaks Malayalam also pretty sweet. Yeah, and every time she will talk to me, there will be at least 3-4 sentences in Malayalam. Okay, keto, adu, sheriyalle. Oh, okay. And it's really
പക്ഷെ ഒരു കാര്യം, നമ്മൾ മലയാളിയാകുമ്പോ നമ്മൾ മലയാളം പറയണ്ടേ?
There you go. If you had started with that sentence, we would have had 80 people.
No, but then I was also showing my respect to those people who do not speak Malayalam. That's the reason. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മലയാളം പറയാൻ സന്തോഷമല്ലോ.
മലയാളി മലയാളം പറയും വേണം. നമുക്ക് മലയാളം ആവരുത്, മലയാളം ആവണം. Whatever style we adopt when we speak Malayalam, it should be Malayalam.
Yeah, of course.
Malayalam.
That goes without saying. I mean, fortunately, നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിലായാലും മലയാളം തന്നെ പറയാറ്. കുട്ടിക്കാലം മുതലേ തന്നെ മലയാളം പറഞ്ഞിട്ട്. ഞാൻ വളർന്നതെല്ലാം ദുബായിൽ തന്നെയാ. ഞാൻ 3.5 വയസ്സിൽ വന്നതാണ് ദുബായില്.
അത് ശരി.
എവിടെയാണ് വീട് ശരി?